Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. So, I just got through watching the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks, and we were able to squeeze out the win in overtime. And to be completely honest with you guys, that was very, very bad basketball. It was bad. When two inept teams come together, this is what you get. That's what I saw. You heard what I had to say about the first half. We had RJ Barrett looking like Michael Jordan, Julius Randle looking like LeBron James. That's what you saw in the first half. Them boys came out, killed it. I made a halftime video expressing exactly how I felt about that. I encourage you guys to go check that out because I'm not going to rehash how I felt about that first half. In the second half, what you saw is Malik Monk just completely destroyed the New York Knicks. I mean, just destroyed. He outscored the Knicks 18-13. The Knicks only scored 13 points in that third quarter. It was quite a sight to see. He just got caught complete fire after having a very tough first quarter defensively, where I called him out for how terrible he looked defensively. He went out there and really, really lit them up. And then the fourth quarter came around, and it was just a lot. It was so much to cover in regards to that fourth quarter. I don't even know what all I actually saw. It was so bad. So many bad plays from both teams. So much ineptitude on both sides from both coaches. Just bad basketball that ultimately led to the Lakers having to play overtime with this team when we had a 9-point lead with two minutes to go. Just one missed free throw after another, one bad play after another. For me, what I saw for the Knicks, just what I saw from the Knicks, was a shift when a couple of bad plays took place. It was a situation where Julius Randle was just trying to do things that he had no business trying to do, and I see why everybody's upset. You look over at Spike Lee; his face was long. I can't wait to hear what Stephen A. has to say about this game. It was just a lot of ineptitude from both teams. We saw the worst of Russell Westbrook tonight. You saw Coach Vogel in his rotations in their most egregious form. You saw players on the Knicks just have nothing to show for their effort. Just a lot of bad play. But I tell you this, Anthony Davis continued to play very well. He's filling up the box score like crazy, blocking shots, getting steals, big points, big rebounds. I mean, this dude is playing better basketball than he's probably played in 4 or 5 years right now. Anthony Davis looks like an MVP candidate right now. I kid you not. And LeBron James, I saw a lot of great things from him. He had a triple-double, big scoring, huge put-back dunk. Although I will have to call him out on some of his shot selection that ultimately gave the Knicks a lot of opportunities. He took some shots he had no business taking. Malik Monk was super hot, and LeBron was settling for bad shots. I know he's fresh off his injury, trying to get himself in rhythm and all that. But I just felt like he didn't respect possessions as well as I would have liked to seen him do so. And he left the door open for the Knicks single-handedly with some of those bad possessions. And you couple that with that bad free throw shooting down the stretch, which was just horrific. It was a lot of bad. But I'll tell you something else. Frank Vogel tried something that you on most nights would think would be horrific, and I was cussing into the phone, and it actually worked. He pushed the button in terms of starting the overtime with Taylor Horton Tucker, who had been missing a lot of shots, hadn't really had a lot going for himself. And Taylor Horton Tucker made some great plays in that overtime. He had a fantastic and one, tied up. I believe it was RJ Barrett for a jump ball for which we were able to capitalize on. He really helped us in that fourth quarter. And another thing that I hate that Frank does that worked tonight was Trevor Ariza. He played Trevor Ariza just about the whole fourth quarter and almost all of overtime. And Trevor Ariza did a really good job on RJ Barrett, as well as getting some key offensive rebounds and even hit a clutch three down the stretch. So when guys play well, you want to give them their credit. We didn't see Dwight Howard tonight. He was in street clothes. DMP, coach's decision. You already know what my opinion is on that. I'm not even going to go there right now. There were situations where I'm looking at players and I'm wondering why they're trying stuff. Like Julius Randle, why in the hell are you trying Anthony Davis in the paint? You played with Anthony Davis. You know Anthony Davis as well as anybody. Dude, are you as arrogant as to believe that you are actually going to get a layup head up with Anthony Davis? Like, these are the type of things where I'm like, I watched Julius develop. I know what kind of player he is. And sometimes his basketball IQ does work against him. And tonight we saw that For every bad thing that Russell was doing out there, we had something equally bad that Juju was doing out there. And I was very happy to see it as a Laker fan. Boy, I could see why they tired of him. I ain't gonna lie. And no, I don't want to trade for him after watching what I saw tonight. No. He's bad Juju right now. I don't know where his head is, but he was attempting to do stuff that he had absolutely no business attempting. Dribbling the ball when you got wide open guards and stuff like that. He trying to go head up with Anthony Davis. I mean, who do you think you are, fam? Anthony Davis is one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's playing his best basketball. Why are you trying him like that? I was so, as a Laker fan, I'm happy. But as somebody who roots for Julius, I remembered all of the things about Julius Randle that I did not like when he was a Laker, and I do not want him back. I'm sorry. I'm a fan. He's family. But you just reminded us of all of what's wrong there, man. You remind us of all of what's wrong there. The Knicks need a point guard. I can tell you that. Watching them, a lot of what went wrong in that second half was simple. In the first half, they were really, really hot from Trey. They gave the ball to R.J. Barrett and let him go crazy. In the second half, they got away from R.J. Barrett. They started doing dumb stuff. They put Nerlens Noel on the floor. Nerlens wasn't doing too well tonight. He was getting ate up out there. They got guys like Alec Burks who really don't have a whole lot to give them. And we were able to take advantage of that tonight. You didn't see enough Obi Toppin. You didn't see enough Emmanuel Quickly. I don't know why in the hell someone would have Cam Reddish on their team and not play him. That's just a head scratcher to me. That's almost as bad as not playing Bol in my opinion. So, it's just a lot of stuff going on over there in New York that just makes me feel like they're like us in a lot of ways. They just got problems, and those problems seem to be glaring. And when you have two teams like that come together, neither one of them want to win, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. I expected this game to go into multiple overtimes because it just seemed like both teams didn't want to win. You saw a situation where, we had a jump ball situation. We tapped the ball out of bounds, and lo and behold, you have Evan Fournier right there for us, diving out of bounds like his team had touched it. Threw the ball directly into the lane for LeBron James to catch, driving straight at the basket for a dunk in overtime. I was like, boy, that's about the stupidest play I'd ever seen. Like, were you not seeing who touched the ball, Evan? What happened there? Just a lot of low IQ stuff that really, really, really worked in our favor from the New York Knicks. And we were doing a lot of low IQ stuff in that first half that worked in their favor. And that's what you saw. Just two bad basketball teams doing stupid stuff. Honest to God, that's what we saw tonight. I can't take away from the players who played well. Like I said, RJ had an amazing first half, even though they didn't get back to him. I don't know what that was about. He hit a big time three, to send it into overtime after us missing like 4 clutch free throws in a row. And it was just so much ineptitude, man. I tell you, it was just so much of it. It wasn't a boring basketball game. It wasn't like the Clipper game where I wasn't engaged. I was definitely into this one. And to a point, because it had so much going on, it was actually kind of fun to watch. But all in all, you're just sitting there scratching your head like, God, what's they going to do next? What are these two teams going to do next? It was like that. And when I say ineptitude, look, I've seen uglier basketball games where you have like just no scoring or too much defense or guys bumbling the ball off their foot left and right. It wasn't that kind of stuff. That's not the ineptitude I'm talking about. I'm talking about it was a clean basketball game to a degree in terms of your eyesight, but then you just see the strategies of both teams, and you're just like, man, you are playing right into our hands, and we're playing right into yours, and neither one of these teams want to win this basketball game. That's what I took from it. Just the rotations on both sides were not good. It was just a lot of bad, man. Frank Vogel, some of the things that he usually does that doesn't work just happened to work for us because we were going up against a team that didn't want to win. It's not that their effort told me they didn't want to win. It was just their decision making was poor. Russell Westbrook was benched in the overtime. I was happy about that. I understand that there are a lot of people out there who were booing him. I would have been booing too. I'm sorry. I'm not the guy that's going to make you feel better about playing poorly. I know I should be a better person in that regard. Westbrook, you need your confidence to come up, man. You can do it. I'm just not like that. I'm the guy that says, yeah, he's sucking out there. He needs to stop shooting. I'm that guy. Yeah, stop the bleeding, sit him down. It's nothing wrong with just thinking team first as opposed to a Hall of Famer who's going to figure out his own confidence. He'll get himself together when he's ready. But until then, you have to manage him. And tonight was one of those nights where Frank Vogel called his number to play in the fourth quarter, and nothing in them first three quarters would legitimize that in any way. Nothing that you've seen in them first three quarters should say, okay, this has got somebody we want on the floor. After him screwing up in the fourth quarter enough, Frank finally, made the decision to sit him, put in THT. I thought that was also somebody who probably shouldn't have been out there in that situation, but we got lucky tonight. That bad decision actually paid off. So that's what we saw tonight. A lot of Frank Vogel's terrible decisions just happened to work. We played Stanley Johnson. He hasn't played well at all lately, and I think a lot of it has to do with just the situations we've put him in. But he's gonna have to find his confidence again, get back out there and playing better. He did hit a big three here and there, but a majority of the stuff that we saw him do tonight wasn't as good as we remember it being when he was on those 10-day contracts. So he's gonna have to get hungry again, and he's gonna have to find ways of being successful. Our boy Austin Reeves was doing good things to a degree, but he's still a little bit in his slump. I wish we would have called his number a little bit more, but it is what it is. So that's what it is, man. I mean, we got away with some stuff tonight. Usually when Trevor's on the floor for too long, especially if he's playing all of fourth quarter and all of overtime, it's a whole lot to complain about. But he did the things that we needed him to do. He's getting in better shape, and we saw a better version of him than we've seen all season. So how can I complain? I'd love to, because I don't like seeing him out there based on a lot of different things, including the fact that we need younger players on the team. But if a guy's going to have a good game and going to help us win, it shuts my mouth. So that's what that is. All in all, I just felt like Anthony Davis was able to clean up a lot of mistakes. A lot of stuff that you would otherwise just have to deal with in terms of us not getting second chance points, not having rim protection, stuff like that. He ended all that. He did what we needed him to do when we don't have a center out there to help us. So praise the Lord that we got Anthony Davis back and he's his best self. Because if he was not, I think that game would have continued to be just as bad as it was in that first half. Then again, the Knicks did a lot of things that made us understand that they had no business wanting to play out there with us. Some of the plays that they were running in that third quarter, just horrible. I'm like, man, Malik Monk is tearing them a new backside, and they only scored 13 points. That just lets you know exactly how terrible they were tonight. So yeah, man, I'm happy to have won. But as I said about many of the games that we've won, we left the door open. Either the other team's gonna walk through it or not. And the Knicks they were sprinting the other way. They were trying to get to the car. They had no interest in walking through that door. So, I'm happy about that. As a Laker fan, it feels good to win a game like this, but it was a lot to complain about. Just Malik Monk, Anthony Davis weren't one of them. And LeBron James, like I said, LeBron James was excellent in some very key areas, but he was also rusty in some key areas, and I just want him to continue to feed the hot hand. A guy like Malik Monk had 29 points, probably could have had 40 if we would have given him the possessions that he deserved, because they weren't guarding him. So it was one of those type of things. What else? We missed Carmelo Anthony out there a bit, but like I said, Trevor held steady. Coach leaned on him heavy, which is, look, Trevor's an older guy, man. If you're going to play him in the entire fourth quarters and overtime, he's not going to make it through the season. Just like I say about everything that Coach does, you're not taking into account the fact that you're still going to need these guys. I like that we're playing him, but we're playing him too much. I don't like that we're playing him, but if he's going to play well, I like that we're playing him, if that makes any sense. But even in that case, I recognize that we're playing him too much. That's the exact thought. So, yeah, it's Frank, man. It's Frank. As long as he's coaching, I'm never going to be happy. When we fire him, it's going to be a party thrown around here, because I think he's one of the worst coaches in the league, and he hasn't always been that way, but right now he just is, and we just happen to get away with it. So that's what it is, man. Anthony Davis covering our backside, keeping us smooth. Malik Monk giving us a massive scoring punch in that third quarter after playing so terribly in that first quarter defensively. Russell Westbrook, about as bad as we've ever seen him. Lowest IQ stuff we've seen in a while. I don't know how in the world. I don't want to be disrespectful, but it's very difficult not to. But I don't know how he's been able to be this successful with his IQ being this low. It's that simple, man. I don't understand how he is so bad at what he's so great at, if that makes any sense. I mean, you sit there and you watch him, you're like, bro, who taught you how to play this game? Like, seriously. Some of them plays down there, you're like, bro, that is horrible. Like, defensive angles, as we saw in that last game with the Clippers, the way that he tries to make certain passes, the rhythm from which he takes those passes, the shot selection, just there's a bunch of stuff that you like, man, I do not understand how you were this successful at this. I really don't. And I just have to be real about that, man. This is one of those games where you're just like, bro, I have no problem with us sitting him when he plays like this. You know, when you see him play this bad in the first half, if I'm coaching, you don't even see him in the second half. He don't get through the third quarter. Ain't going to be none of that stuff we saw. He's not going to get there. That's how bad he was. You know, it was a situation he couldn't shoot, couldn't get right, wasn't making no free throws. It seemed like passes were going all over the place. Layups was being missed constantly. Just bad defense. It was all bad Westbrook. And you could see him hanging his head. And he didn't have his confidence. And that was rightfully so. Because when you suck, you just suck, man. It ain't no two ways about it. And that's what I saw out there. And I'm not here to be nice. I'm just here to point out what I see. He was bad. Hopefully he can bounce back at some point and get back to his confidence. I think he would do best if he didn't have a coach that was so inept in terms of the circumstances and the situations he places him in. You got to have a very, very, very unique type of coach. And I'm going to tell you something. I look at what's going on in Washington, and I bring this up again. I look at Kuzma's numbers. Kuzma's production is better than anything he ever showed us as a Laker. Ever. The thing that we believed we knew about Kuzma was that the only thing he actually really is good at is scoring. And then around the end of his tenure here, he started really showing us he could rebound. If you look at his numbers over the last 2 weeks, he's filling up the box score in every statistical category. And he's shooting a very, very, very solid percentage. And he's making clutch plays on both ends of the floor. He's practically an all-star. His defensive statistics are staggeringly good. And I look and I say, what did I see from Russell Westbrook when he played with Washington? Well, he was great with Washington last year. They were a playoff team, or at least got into the play-in tournament. He played some of his best basketball. What is the consistency here? Frank's offense. That's the consistency here. When Westbrook is in Frank's offense, he looks terrible. When Westbrook is in Washington offense, he looks great. When Kuzma's in Frank's offense, he looks terrible. When Kuzma's in Washington's offense, he looks amazing. That is the consistent thing here. That is the lowest common denominator here. And I promise you, as bad as Westbrook looks, if you remove Frank from the equation and all of his decisions and all of his offensive ways, and you bring in whatever the coach of Wes Unseld Jr., the coach of the Washington Wizards, I promise you'll see a better Westbrook. I promise. Someone needs to be honest about how bad our offense is, because we always talk about our defense, things of that nature, but that offense is awful. And a lot of times players have a hard time maneuvering through it, and I think that's what we're seeing down there with Westbrook. I am willing to bet everything I own that Russell Westbrook's ineptitude, a lot of that is catered to what we're running out there. And that is something that I can't prove, but I'm almost certain if we trade Westbrook anywhere else, he's going to look like Westbrook again. Watch. 30 points, 10 assists, 12 rebounds. Watch. Just remember I said that, because I know we're going to try to trade him. I hope we're able to do that, but I promise he's going to bounce back and look amazing somewhere else. Because a lot of what's wrong is the fact that our offense makes you create for yourself. It makes you figure out certain things on your own. It puts the ball in your hands and zeroes in on you to create for yourself. And very few players can do that in this offense. That's what we saw with Anthony Davis in the first half of the season. He started getting collapsed on, didn't really make things happen for himself, made him look bad. LeBron James can create for himself, so he's never going to look horrible out there. He's going to be able to thrive in any offense because he's one of the greatest players in sports history. Malik Monk is able to shoot the ball no matter what. If he's standing still, he can let off a three-point shot. It's very difficult not to succeed when you have the type of offensive talent of Malik Monk. But I'm telling you, look at Taylor Horton-Tucker and how bad he looks in this offense. Send him to Washington. I guarantee you he starts playing like I'm telling you he's capable of. We have to understand something. Everyone that plays under this dude plays worse. I'm telling you. And when we get to a point where we realize that and we relieve him of these duties and bring in a coach that can provide us a certain level of offensive intellect, I assure you, this team will look like we thought it would look at the beginning of the season. I know what we look like now, and I know it's not a whole lot of evidence, but we've had Frank here for 3 years, and everybody that plays under this dude sucks, man. And I'm tired of playing about it. I'm tired of being nice about it. I don't even think I'm been nice about it, but I'm ready to be raw about it. This dude has to go, even in a win. I still see different things that he did that may have worked tonight because we were going up against some bad Knicks, but would not have worked if we would have went up against anybody else. And you about to see the schedule get worse because we got the Bucks coming up, we got the Warriors coming up. It's about to get hard. And so, Genie, if you can keep on kicking this can down the road, maybe you see these wins and it might be fooling you into thinking everything's fine. But I promise you, as long as you keep that guy down there making decisions that he feels comfortable with, we are always going to be at a disadvantage no matter who we play. We should have blown this team out tonight. As bad as they look in that second half, there's no reason for us to be in the overtime. And as bad as they looked in that first half, you should have been ready to fire him at the end of that first half. The only reason why we even got back in that game is because we're playing against some bad Knicks and Juju and his bad stuff, and because of Malik Monk's just incredible ability to score basketball without any effort whatsoever. And I'll tell you something else. You had better find a way to get his money, because Malik Monk is going to walk. He's going to walk. He's going to make a lot more money than we're going to be able to pay him. So it is absolutely and utterly essential that we make a strong decision as it pertains to Malik Monk over the next several weeks. Not even several weeks, over the next 8 days. Because the trade deadline's coming up. And if you don't make a decision to create cap space for that man, he's going to sign with somebody who has cap space and you'll never see him again. That is about as clear as anything you can ever imagine. It's going to happen. He's not going to take your little mid-level exception next year. He's not going to take no little $2 million after playing the way he's played this year. He's going somewhere, and he's going to make some money. You better make sure it's you giving him that money. That means you have to trade Westbrook or get rid of THT or something. But understand, somebody's going to overpay for that kid, and it's going to be to our detriment letting him walk out the door, especially as hard as it is for us to maneuver around the crappy offense of this coach you refuse to fire. So understand, this was a fluke. We went up against a team that was just a little bit worse than us, and that is why we were able to squeeze out a victory even though we left the door open for them to take it. That is what we saw. Things that you saw tonight, like that Evan Fournier play and Julius Randle trying to try Anthony Davis multiple times, getting blocked, just playing straight into his hands. Juju, I don't know, man. That kind of stuff you're not going to get from most NBA teams. It's not going to happen. And if that's what's required for us to win, we're going to lose. So y'all can believe in this fool's goal if you want to, but I hope you heed these words. We only won because they suck too. That's it. That is all. We matched them on the boards. We killed them in the paint. We appreciate that. I definitely like that. Both teams were terrible from behind the arc. With the exception of Malik Monk going crazy, everybody shot bad from behind the arc. What else? The turnovers, we had 13, they had 14, or vice versa. It was something like that. That's really it, man. It was just a lot of bad. Fluid. It flowed well, but it was terrible. That's what I saw, man. I'm happy to have won it. Man, welcome back, LeBron James. Happy you're back, man. Get back in the swing of things. Your rebounding was key tonight. Rebounding was definitely key. The second chance points were very, very, very helpful tonight. And, yeah, man, like I said, if you want to know exactly how I viewed that first half, I got a whole 5-minute video that I did at halftime that will tell you exactly what I thought of that first half. It was awful. It was just awful. Luckily enough, the Knicks were able to match that awful with a bad second half. So, and even that, we couldn't close. Even with that, we couldn't close. Throw the whole team away, man. My name is BDF44. Thank y'all for watching.